So I tweeted this, and now I'm going to get into abortion, but consider the abortion thing as an analogy or one example. I said, what happens if a woman is on the way to get an abortion at 8 months, but goes into labor in the lobby of the abortion clinic and accidentally delivers the baby before it could be terminated? And this tweet gets ratioed because these many people on the left were saying things like, that doesn't happen, that won't happen, that can't happen, that would just be induced labor, blah, 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 blah. So I said, oh no, they didn't read the law the Democrats tried to pass, which would allow for post-viability abortion. Why abort the baby instead of inducing labor or a C-section? Then, of course, people who don't know English said, how do you induce a C-section? Inducing labor or a C-section, two independent clauses. And then I had to respond again. Oh no, they don't know what abortion means. This is impossible. This is impossible. The adults do not have control of the conversation. Imagine you're running a daycare center and the kids have locked all the doors and have tied up the people running the daycare center. The inmates are running the asylum. And this is my point. Not to just constantly rehash the abortion argument, but the bill says you can't prohibit abortion after viability. Viability meaning the baby can survive on its own. What does abortion mean? Abortion, according to the CDC, is the termination of a pregnancy that does not result in a live birth. So you have a baby that's viable and you perform a procedure that results not in a live birth. There's only one that means one thing. A baby that could have lived outside the womb is terminated. Its life is over. Post-viability means up unto the point of birth. So I, as someone who has always been, effectively in the Roe v. Wade camp of at a woman's discretion within a certain time frame, but viability questions end up being raised. Why is it that none of these people on the left can understand any of these basic concepts, and they just say things that seem to make no sense? Like, did you read it, Tim? It says the health of the mother. What does that have to do with killing the baby? I'll put it simple. When I was talking with Matt on the show yesterday, he just kept saying it's the woman's choice. And Seamus and I, who disagree on the issue, were trying to understand his position. It didn't seem like he had one. He just kept saying it's the woman's choice. It's the choice of the woman. And we're not. He's like, it's the woman's body. It's the woman's choice. And I say, okay, but when the baby is viable and the mother's health is at risk, and they have to end the pregnancy for the life of the mother, why kill the baby? There doesn't seem to be an answer, because what I end up seeing with all of these responses on Twitter is the inmates don't understand the concept of abortion, don't know the CDC's definition of it, don't know these things do happen. And I think they're 8 or so percent of cases. And then I'll give you another example. 91% of abortions happen within the first 12 weeks. That's data we pulled up on the show. And if that's the case, why are they upset with abortions being banned at 16? Now, I ask these questions, but the responses I get from people on the left are that they don't understand what abortion means. They don't understand the law the Democrats tried to pass. Matt on the show didn't read the bill. He didn't know they were trying to do this. And he kept saying, because the woman's health is in danger. And I'm like, so you have to remove the baby, right? Woman's health is at risk. You have to remove the baby, right? Okay, why kill it? You could perform a C-section and take the baby out. Baby's alive, right? Okay, abortion means not a live birth. That is to say, they would not prohibit a procedure that would kill the baby if the mother's health is at risk. That doesn't make sense. It says the continuation of the pregnancy would pose a risk. It literally says you can terminate the baby's life if the continuation of the pregnancy poses a risk to the patient's life or health. Why terminate the baby when you could terminate the pregnancy and save the baby? Now, if I can't get an answer on that, and these people don't know, and they're running the rules for Twitter and censoring people, what do you think happens when you give a bunch of 12-year-olds access to your bank account? What happens when you give 12-year-olds an iPad and it's linked to your credit card? They start buying up all the little widgets in their dumb video game because they don't know how it works.